I'm Jordan with Jordan Plays Blue. This is my June roundup. I skipped May. I did play games in May, but nothing that was super exciting. And I was doing a lot of prep for my summer initiative. So over on my Instagram page, I've been doing publisher spotlight. So each week I am taking a publisher, reviewing only their games for a whole week, doing some preview stuff for upcoming games, looking at some Kickstarter stuff, you know, those kind of things. So there aren't gaming conventions right now in the traditional sense, and so whenever you go up to a booth, you get to learn about all the stuff that the publishers have. And so I wanted to find a way that people could get kind of that booth experience. So this was my solution. Since I do things on Instagram, that's what I got. So I have 17 or 18 publishers. I've done 3 or 4 weeks at this point for them, and they all started in June. So I'll be talking about a lot of those games, and then in July I have more, into August, and I think I actually have some publishers scheduled into September. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should, and so you can keep on top of all of that kind of stuff, which is really exciting. And at the end of this video, I'll talk about some of the stuff that's coming up, but I'm going to start the video off with just some games that I've played recently that I wanted to highlight. One of them, this was during Habbo Week. Habbo was the first week that I did for my publisher spotlights. I love Habbo Games. They've been a nice partner of mine for a while now. My daughter May really likes Habbo Games. Probably the highlight for the week for me was Miyabi. Miyabi is a tile laying game, kind of in the realm of Number 9, if you've ever played that game. They're sort of Tetris. Well, they are Tetris pieces. Number 9, they're sort of Tetris-y. But you're going to be placing them on a board, on a grid board, but there's different placement rules that are really interesting and make it more puzzly. But you also are going to be stacking them and get increasing amount of points depending on what level that you put these tiles on. It is not, Number 9 is super quick, super fast. I did a review over on my Instagram for it a month or so ago, but Miyabi, I like Miyabi a lot better. I think this is really a fantastic game. It is, it just kind of feels timeless and special, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah, that was Miyabi. That was kind of the highlight of Habbo Week for me. After that, I did a week about Pencil First games. So we did, Pencil First they have I don't think it's all their games, but they have this line that they've been fleshing out recently, and they're all kind of just really beautiful, pastoral, floral kind of looking games. Beth Sobel usually does the artwork. Steve Finn usually does the designs. Most of them are fitting in that filler range, so maybe about a half-hour tops. I was also able to preview Whatnot Cabinet, which actually... Boom, Whatnot Cabinet. I did a quick preview for that one on Instagram, which was really cool. This one was on Kickstarter. I think it's over now, so sorry about that. But if you missed the Kickstarter, there might be a late backing, or just check it when it hits retail, because I'm sure it will. But the Whatnot Cabinet was really cool. It's a set collection tile laying game. You're trying to put you're collecting these trinkets of different colors and types, and you're putting them on these shelves, and you want them to be in certain rows and columns. I don't know if that sounds interesting, but it was actually pretty good. But probably the best one, and I think I gave this a seal of awesomeness, because I do seals sometimes, was Herbaceous. This is if you were to rank kind of filler games, which I have mixed feelings about that term, but this would be like top tier. Like if we were doing a tier list, like this is an S tier filler game. Herbaceous is so good. It has an I split you choose type mechanism where you're going to be taking a card and deciding what to do, whether you're going to keep it or put it in the common pool. It has a press your luck aspect of it. The artwork is gorgeous. The mechanics are super easy. You can teach it very quickly and get it played in just a couple minutes later. I really liked Herbaceous. I also checked out Herbaceous Sprouts and Sunset Over Water. Those were both also really solid titles. I think I recommended both of those, so they're both really good. Herbaceous was just kind of like, boom, right there, right above them. After Pencil First Week, I did a week of Jelly Bean games. I just wrapped up Jelly Bean Week. I gave away 3 copies of their game Brains. I did an interview with their art designer or their art director, Tanaya. I don't know if it's Tanaya or Tanya. Sorry, Walker. She did the artwork of Lady and the Tiger, Village Pillage, and then she oversees like their art direction. She was really cool to kind of chat with. She used to work for Disney, and she had some cool insights on kind of art design and graphic design in games. So you could check that out also on my Instagram. Yeah, so for Jelly Bean Games, probably my most played game of the month was Lady and the Tiger. That's because there's 5 game modes in here, and I had to play all of the game modes a couple times. But Lady and the Tiger was probably my most played game from June. It is kind of an anthology of games. So there's 5 games in the box. There's a solo game, a couple 2-player games, some higher player count games as well. They all use the same deck of cards and the same pieces. And it's a very diverse pool of games. Admittedly, they're not all excellent. They're not all terrible. So there's going to be some that are better than others. I preferred probably the 2-player games in it. The solo game was also an interesting puzzle. You're trying to move these kind of stones from card to card. Yeah, I thought it was an interesting experiment, and if you're into those kind of games, I would check it out. I enjoyed it. Ninjitsu was another one that this is a kind of hidden information kind of take that game, which I'm not super into take that games, but this one was short enough and didn't have a ton of, I don't know, it wasn't super in your face. I thought that one was interesting. With the hidden information, it felt like it was going to go a lot quicker and easier than it, you thought this was just going to be a walk in the park, but the game was a little trickier than you thought it was going to be. Probably my favorite of the Jelly Bean games I played was Village Pillage. This one is a rock, paper, scissors game where you are playing cards against your player on your left and your right, and you're going to then flip over the cards and see, if they put a blue wall up, that might stop their red knight or something like that. And so you're trying to do this to steal, money or beets or whatever, turnips, whatever the currency is. It's not coins. I think they're turnips. You're trying to steal turnips from each other to turn in the turnips to purchase these royal stuff. And it was really light, super quick. You can kind of teach it with deal out the cards, do a practice round, and everybody's like, all right, I got this. And then you can go move forward with that. I thought that one was really cool. And Jelly Bean, their production is super good. These were all kind of smaller, on the smaller end of card games, but the cards were all linen finished. The artwork was all top notch. Some of them had more of a watercolor feel. This one has more of like a Disney kind of feel to it. Lady and the Tiger was just really bold colors. They have a lot of diversity in their games, which I really appreciate. So generally, I was really impressed with the Jelly Bean line. I also took a look at French Toast, which is on Kickstarter now, I believe. And that's a party game where you are kind of like it's like a riff on 20 Questions-ish. So you can check that one out if you're into those kind of party games. And then the week that this is getting posted, I believe, as long as I edit this properly, is Thunderworks week. Now, Thunderworks is a publisher that makes bigger games than the ones I've reviewed so far this summer with my summer spotlights. They typically have been doing bigger, more involved games. And mostly up until this point, they've been smaller kind of filler card games, which is kind of in my wheelhouse, but I do enjoy heavier, bigger games as well. But Thunderworks, they have a line of games called the Role Player line, and they asked that I would look at all of the games in the Role Player line up until now. Now, I haven't looked at the expansions yet, hoping to in the future, but right now I'm just focusing on the base games. And I had never played anything in this line before. Admittedly, I am not much of a role player, D&D kind of guy, and so fantasy-type worlds aren't super exciting to me, so I've always thought the game sounded interesting, but I've never really gone for it because, the theming wasn't really there for me. So looking at Role Player, Cartographers, and Lockup. I'm looking at all of those this week over my Instagram page, so check those out. Role Player, it's heavy. Role Player is so good. This game is really good. I've heard people compare it to Sagrada, and I can see that because it has similar dice placement in a grid shape, but they feel like super different games. I'm going to take another look at Sagrada later this summer. But Role Player is so good. The theming you know, aside, you know, it was still the theme fit, you know, it worked. Even though I'm not super into it, it really worked. It felt thematic. I thought the artwork was really good, the graphic design was really good, everything about it, it felt like the complete package. I really liked Roll Player, and I'm really excited to, in the future, check out the expansions, because I think, from what I've heard, they just make it better. Cartographers is really good. I'll probably talk about that one later. But Lockup is one that really surprised me. The artwork in this game is kind of a little grittier and a little grimier, not necessarily in a bad way, than Roll Player. But it's in the game, you're playing like a gang of goons, or a gang of people in creatures in prison. Each one's a different kind of, each player's a different kind of creature, and you're trying to make things in jail. And the theming is kind of dark. The look to it is kind of dark. Admittedly, I keep saying admittedly, but it's true. Admittedly, my wife did not care for, like, she will not play this game again because of the theme and artwork. I have continued to play it because I like it despite the theme and artwork. I thought it's just a worker placement game, collect some resources, turn them in for some other things. I thought the card play was really interesting, the way that you're collecting these goon cards, the way that you're collecting these item cards, and to get these bonus points at the end. I think that was really cool. But this is not like a super heavy worker placement game. It's probably more medium weight. It feels heavier than like Stone Age, but you know, it's somewhere probably mid-weight, I would say. But yeah, so that's Lockup. I thought that one was super surprising. So my game of the month, I played so many good games. I don't think I had a dud yet in the month of June. They were all super good. I'm gonna probably have to give it to Herbaceous, because I think this one really, they really succeeded in what they were trying to do. The whole package is there, the artwork, everything about it is really good. You can play this one really quickly, and it really fits in with the kind of games that I've been playing recently, and I really, really love Herbaceous right now. So this is probably the game of June for me. What's another thing? So games that are entering my collection. So I review games a lot. Not all the games enter my collection. Some games I kind of move on from, you know. So Herbaceous, of course, staying in the collection. Roll Player, in the collection. Boom, in the collection. I wish I had like a gavel or a bell or something. Here we go. Miyabi, in the collection. This one is super good. I'm gonna keep that one. And Village Pillage is definitely in the collection. Those are probably, from each of the weeks I've done so far, those are the top games, I think, for each one. Now, a couple others. I think I'm going to hang on to Lady and the Tiger a little bit and see which versions I end up wanting to come back to. Just hang on to this one for a little bit and see if I do return to it. Ninjitsu, though, I'll probably move on from Ninjitsu, but I think I'm going to keep it within my sphere of friends. So I might give this one to a friend, and then I still have access to it. It just won't be on my shelf. So it's not like a hard get rid of Ninjitsu. And then honestly, the same will probably go for Lockup. I really like Lockup. I have some buddies that really enjoyed it as well. So I'll probably gift it to one of them, so it can kind of stay within the family. But at my house with my wife as my primary gaming partner, it's probably not going to get played, unfortunately. So I have to be mindful of that. I can't just keep games on my shelf that aren't going to get played at home. So I'll probably move on from those two. Whatnot Cabinet's not a full, I talked about that one here, but that's not even the production copy. So we'll see when that one comes in. But that one might be a keeper. Honestly, there were so many keepers this month. That was really hard to think about. What else? Anything else? So coming up this month in July will be, the month starting off with Thunderworks Week. Also, next week is Devir Week. So I'll be doing a whole week on Devir games. Devir does more Euro-style games. I'll be looking at Silk, a kid's game called The Color Monster, and then also What's the other game I'm looking? Oh, Paris, City of Lights, the Cité de Lumière. That's a 2-player game that I'm super pumped about to check out for you guys. So that'll be over on my Instagram. And then the week after that, I believe, is Gamewright Week, which is a new publisher I haven't worked with before. I'll be looking at a couple of their new games, which is really fun. And then in the future, we got weeks for, what do we got? Floodgate Games, Indie Game Studios, Indie Boards and Cards, and Stronghold. I'll be doing a giveaway for that one, so stay tuned for that. That'll be another roll and write package from them that I'll be giving away. I got my stack of games over there. What else do we got? Talon Strike Games. I'll be looking at the new game in their vinyl line, which Big Band, which is exciting. And I'll be looking at some new games from, what are they called? Deepwater Games. I'll be doing another interview with designer Eric Slauson. So check that kind of stuff out, guys. Trying to think. I think that's it, guys. I'm Jordan, and you should follow me and subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.